Hello there. It's another Monday evening, and it's always nice, always a pleasure to co-present this program. It's the football show. My name is Wale, and I've got my colleague and my mate Amos here with us today. And it's been a wonderful weekend, obviously, and especially in the world of football, there have been so many news coming around. Since the last time we came here. Before we just last week we discussed about the Super Eagles and the games they had done, and one of them being the game against Cape Verde that ended 1-1. We're going to be discussing that today. Like I said, I'm not alone. I've got Amos here with me. But before Amos joins us, if this is first time of watching this, please don't forget to subscribe, okay? And have a look at what we've done in the past. And if you enjoy, if you like it, tell someone about it, and don't forget to give us a thumbs up, okay? All right, so it's the football show comes to you at about this time every Monday. So we always look at football, we discuss football, and if you've got any issues you think you want to bring up, please don't forget we've got the comment section there. Leave your comments there, ask your question. I'll do our very best, obviously, to tackle them. So Amos, welcome to the show today. How was your weekend?
Well, it's good to be back on the show.
Hmm.
It's been a very very busy week, or let me use the word week because from last Monday, between last Monday and now, a lot has happened in the world of
Hmm.
football, on the local scene, on the international scene, with our manager and with our players as well.
Mm.
At various clubs. There's a lot to talk about. You'll agree with me that there's a lot to talk about. Welcome once again, guys. Let's do this together and let's have a 1 hour ride. You know.
That's good. So yeah, we've got a 1 hour ride, and obviously we'll be taking a break at some point. But before we do that, I'll just give you a rundown of what we're going to be discussing today. There's been so many um, rumors and counter rumors coming out from the Nigerian football scene, especially with regards to the Nigerian Super Eagles coach Gennaro. Some have actually come out to say he has been sacked, but we haven't got anything official regarding that. A Serbian has been mentioned as probably the person to take over from Roa, but we don't know. So we're going to be discussing that today, and also we're going to be discussing how a Nigerian, a Super Eagles player, was instrumental to giving Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a P45. Who is that Nigerian? Just stay with us and you will get to know who that Nigerian is. Obviously, the sad news was it yesterday involving player boy Victor Osimhen sustaining a high injury in a game they played against Inter. That was the first loss, incidentally, that we're talking about Napoli here in the Serie A. So we're going to also be discussing that. And obviously, the sort of not so great news coming out of the Super Eagles camp, also involving some Super Eagles players. It's been well. Don't let me let the cat out of the bag. It's something interesting that we've heard about it before in the past, and it's a sorry state that we're discussing this now. No one has come out to accuse whoever is involved yet, but we're just going to be discussing it and obviously look at how we're going to find a permanent solution to this sort of, very disturbing news coming out of the Super Eagles football camp. Amos, I think it's better to start from head coach, manager, technical advisor, coach, whatever you want to call him, Roa. So after the game against Cape Verde, a lot of people came out and said, "Well, that's it. Bye bye. It's over and raw. It's over and raw. Bye bye. Go. That's it. We've mentioned so many times here on this show, and obviously on different platforms where people have complained about this boring football style of the Super Eagles. Super Eagles are no longer exciting as they used to be in the past. We've talked about it. People are now beginning to understand what we've been saying, and people are saying, it's time for this guy to just pack his load and go. I mean, it gets so interesting that the chief whip of the Nigerian Senate, talking about Chief Orji Uzokalo, former governor of Abia State, who obviously is a very well-known figure in Nigerian politics and obviously Nigerian football, has come out to say, you know what, I can handle the Super Eagles far better than General. Then you know something is really going on here. When a politician says, I can do a better job than General. Amos, where do we go from here? Should this guy, you're looking at him now on the screen, should he just pack his load and go, or should we just push him? Or are we being unfair to this guy? Are we just throwing him under the bus due to you know what we should be doing? Really, what should be the fate of getting Rush? Should we just give him the Ole Scotia treatment?
Honestly, with Guerrero, we understand from the camp of the NFF that there already conversation is ongoing, or conversations are ongoing, because there's a lot to talk about. We've
Mm,
heard a series of rumors regarding his severance package, regarding what exactly is in the clause, what exactly does his contract say. We also hear, or we also learn that Genero has reached out to some of his players, and he has told them, "Hey guys, I'll be leaving you," you know. But I'll start from here. On, I think it was during the weekend, as soon as the news broke that Genero was going to be fired, or has been fired I think that was on Thursday. So uh, according to news from the BBC, one an unnamed or anonymous NFF source told the BBC that it will be a mistake, or it shouldn't even come up. The sacking of Raw shouldn't even come up at this time, because it's a critical time. It's just a few months away, or 1.5 months away from the CAF
Afcon, yeah,
AFCON, Africa Cup of Nations in
Cameroon.
Cameroon,
Mm,
2019. So where does this leave the team? That's the question. Where does this leave the team? Who's going to take over? Who's going to be in charge? Some of the questions that I've always had is, okay, if you fire General, what is the next thing? Are we going to the drawing board as usual? Oh guys, we're going to start all over again. What exactly was the initial plan when you hired Genero, and when you extended his contract? If we cast our mind back to about a year ago now, or a year plus, when Genero's contract was renewed in March 2020, last year. The leadership of the federation said that they trust in Genero, and that's why they trust him to take us to the next level. That's why his contract was renewed in the first place.
yeah,
Now we've lost the confidence, because so the main thing is that Genero has delivered what we want, and that is the truth.
yeah.
Genero has taken us to the playoffs of the World Cup. He has delivered AFCON qualifier. Every box has been ticked, but we are not confident going forward. And this is my own opinion. I'm not saying this authoritatively, that this is what the federation is saying, but hey, we are not confident that Genero can develop our game. We're not confident that it can actually improve our team. We saw the kind of performance the boys put up, against Cape Verde, against Liberia, against CAR. We were even beaten at home by CAR 1-0. We're
Mm,
pipped 1
mm,
0 at our own backyard. This tells you that, hey, we are not the giants that we used to be. We are no longer, we've lost that status. Teams can actually come and hold us to our own. Team can actually come down to Nigeria or wherever it is that we're playing, and come face to face to say, oh, these guys cannot defeat us. That is how we've been degraded. That's how low our team has been. Sometimes I say this to some people, like, when you see a Nigerian wearing the jersey of the Nigerian national team, you know, that jersey means a lot. You know, that jersey means a lot because if any foreigner sees you on that jersey, says, "Oh, this is Nigeria." They begin to remember names of players that they've seen
Mm,
at world stage, that they've seen at their club level. To say, "Oh, I remember JJ Okocha." Let me cast my mind back to 2019 in Morocco when we went for Chan. You know, the taxi that I was on, I was in. You know, the taxi driver was asking me when we told him that we're journalists from Nigeria, we've come to cover AFCON in Morocco, and he says, "Oh, JJ Okocha." I started mentioning Kanu Wankwo. You know, he says, "Oh, you really love JJ Okocha." You know, and that is how much respect we have on the international scene. But hey, the truth
mm,
is we've lost it. Honestly, we have lost it. It's not that we don't have world class players. It's not that we don't have those players who can shake the world. But in terms of management, we've been so low when it comes to management. Imagine we have Victor Osimhen, we have Wilfred Ndidi, we have Kelechi Iheanacho. We've got all of these players: Emmanuel Dennis, Taiwo Awoniyi, Moses Simon. These guys are scoring week in, week out. We've got all of these players, but we cannot boast. We cannot impose ourselves on those games. And we're playing CR, we're playing Liberia. It is worrisome. Everybody was worried. And I must say this, that the media didn't help Raw. The media came so hard at Raw, social media, everybody. And it got to the point where Governor Orji Uzor Kalu, former Governor Orji Uzor Kalu, governor of Aba, of Abia
Abia.
State, coming out to say Raw was among the coaches who put in for the job at Eyimba. I don't remember the year he mentioned now, but hey, they didn't hire Raw. But the Nigeria Football Federation thought it wise to hire General. And that tells you that.
But but Amos, sorry to cut you short now, but are we unnecessarily unfair to this guy? I mean, we talked about the fact that, well, Nigeria is a giant of Africa in football, but it's that's history now because you cannot continue to live on past glory.
Yeah.
An example: Italy won the Nations Cup in Europe, but they're struggling to qualify for the World Cup. They played against Northern Ireland. They couldn't even beat the Northern Irish. I mean, they had the likes of Benucci, Chiesa, Jorginho, top players in their teams, but they
Well, it,
couldn't even score a
well, it, well,
goal
well, it, well, it,
again.
well, well,
So,
you could
so
see, but you could see you could see the kind of football that they are playing, right? And that's
so
what we're
so the
saying.
difference now, with Mancini and Roa is the fact that Italy play good football and they've won something in the past.
Exactly.
They've
Now,
got good
Italy has
players, and
won something
tactically they are
under
strong.
it's exactly. So Italy has won something. They have something to show. Mancini has something to show. He's got that unbeaten record for how many number of games.
Yeah.
He beat England right at their own backyard. You know, they couldn't believe it, and that's what it is. They put up a very, very interesting and inspiring performance to say, hey guys, we're going to England and we're doing this. And that's what they did. They imposed their game and they say, hey, this is how we are going to play. Look at all the boys who plays for England, for Italy now. Look at the style of play from the right to the left to the fullbacks, going forward, the midfield. The kind of football they play is fantastic. So, but for us, you can't even tell how the Super Eagles play. And then the coach will
It's
come
a
and tell you,
raw
oh,
way.
do you understand the raw way? The raw way, the stubborn way. Raw as is a very conservative manager. He has so been stubborn that he's not he doesn't change his style. How can you go into a game and then you have five options to make substitutions and then you don't use one until 80th minute and then you leave an Odion Igalo on the field for 70 minutes? 70 minutes. That's criminal. you know And we all know, we all know that we've got players who are firing on all cylinders. They can do better than this. They really can do better than this. We're soon going to be talking about Manchester United, and you see how people have come hard on the manager. It's criminal not to be able to beat Watford, because this got so worse because Watford beat them 4.
Mm.
And yeah, so because people could no longer imagine, it became unimaginable that Manchester United was going to lose 4 goals to Watford. This has been long coming. Oh, we know he's lost 5 out of 7 games, but the fact that it's Watford that put the icing on the cake made it worse for him. And that's what we're saying. CAR, Liberia, all due respect to these teams, CAR, Liberia, Cape Verde, these guys shouldn't be holding Nigeria down. These guys shouldn't be, although we're able to top the group, but it's not the kind of display that we want to see. What this tells us is Raw is not getting the best out of our players. He's not, and the same thing is happening at Manchester United. He's not able to motivate the players enough to get the best out of them, or it's either that he doesn't know how to use them. How can you deploy Moses Simon, who plays on the left wing at his club, and then you bring him to the national team to play a right back position, a wing back position rather? It means that you've already killed what that player can do. You're not giving that player, you're not allowing that player explore the same thing or replicate the same form that is showing or is putting up at his club. And that is what Nigerians see. Nigerians see these guys at their various clubs and say, why is it that these guys don't play the same way when they come to Nigeria? What exactly is going on? We struggle when we come back home. It's because Raw has not been able to identify how best to use these players. And that's a managerial thing. Raw, I'm not going to say he's a bad manager, because hey, come on, he has qualified us for the playoffs of the World Cup. He has put us ahead of the other guys in the group. He has taken us to the Nations Cup in AFCON. I'm not going to say he's a bad manager, but it can be better. And I'm not going to say, oh, fire up, but we've gone past that phase now, because even the NFF themselves have confirmed that, or sources close to the NFF have
Yeah.
confirmed that Gene Raw is going to be fired. And Raw himself has reached out to the players that, hey guys, I am leaving. So we've gone past that phase. So the phase where we are now is, the rumors about, oh, Gene Raw is going to earn 600 million naira. And today it was confirmed that it's all false. Raw is not going to get 600 million naira. But there is also a news that Gene Raw is going to earn about $45,000 monthly without doing anything for the Super Eagles. But it's until he picks up a job, and that payment is going to stop. So if I were Raw, I would just say, oh,
Who is going to even hire somebody like Rod to be? All fairness to him, who is going to do that? I mean, at
no,
his age, he
Gene
probably will
Raw will
just
get
sit
a
down
job.
and probably go somewhere.
Wale Gene Raw will get a job. Don't get it twisted. Gene Raw has coached Super Eagles of Nigeria. That's a big
That's
plus for him. So that's the thing. That's what big jobs do to your career, right? Big
mm,
jobs such as the Super Eagles boost your CV, and he doesn't have a bad record going into the Nations Cup, going into the World Cup. He's got good record. That's the thing.
mm,
But what we are complaining about is that the team is not playing inspiring football. They are not playing like they know what they are doing. They are not playing like a team. They're not. They play. If not for individual brilliance, we wouldn't have been anywhere. Individual brilliance from Victor Osimhen or individual brilliance from Kelechi Iheanacho, he scored 2 goals. So those are just some of the things. We're not seeing like, oh, these guys are playing like a team. When the Chiefs are down, the boys are able to hold their own. They are going to play fine. Teams are going to lose. See, nobody would have an 100% performance. You just mentioned Italy. Italy will not always have an 100%. But the
mm.
reality is they are going to play their game, and we will enjoy it, and we will say, oh, these guys, this is how they play. They play good football, but we were unlucky. We can't say the same for the Super Eagles. No, we just can't say the
I
same.
had, I had a look at statistics today on the social media, and I saw that, and it was really very damning. Um, During the qualifiers, Algeria Phoenix of Algeria, the Desert Foxes of Algeria, scored 25 goals
Hmm.
in all the qualifiers. So in all the games in the qualifiers, they scored 25 goals. And Nigeria could only manage nine, a pantry
9 goals.
nine. And we're talking about probably pound for pound, the best strikers, well, aside Mohamed Salah. But again, you can't say Mohamed Salah is a striker. He's not an out-and-out striker. But we're talking about a team of probably the crop of best strikers to come out of Africa. We're talking about Osimhen, Awoniyi, who's doing very well at the Bundesliga, Simi, Onuachu. The list is endless. Desas, Emmanuel Dennis, and fine that some of these guys have not been called into the national team,
Yeah.
to the Super Eagles, but with the ones there, they could only manage get nine goals. It is really very damning. It goes to show that hold on, something is wrong here. So when we go to the AFCON in Cameroon, who is going to score all these goals for? Is this suddenly a case of when these guys come to Nigeria or when they come to Africa, they forget all their scoring boots wherever they come from? But the same is not is it can be said about the Algerians. Are you going to tell me that Riyad Mahrez has scored more goals this season than Osimhen, or probably what's his name, Slimani? So what is? Should we attribute this to the way Rob plays, or the way he wants us to play? All it's about is just safety first, defend, don't let anyone score. Then maybe we can get a deflected goal, or maybe Osimhen might decide to just take the ball on the run and score or pounce on the goalkeeper mistake, which was probably our saving grace when we played Cape Verde in the backyard, because the two goals were just mistakes for the defenders and the goalkeepers.
Yeah.
So where do we go from here?
Honestly, the question is, why is he not inviting? Why are you inviting a player who has retired? Right. Yeah, that's the thing. What's your plan? What exactly is your plan? You said for experience. What experience? Why are you not playing your best players? Why are you not bringing your best players the best players that we're seeing week in, week out? Just imagine, before he invited what was his name now? Ebere, the whole world, Nigerians, media, social media had to cry out. And it took him ages to make such a decision. I'm not sure like Raw exactly has a plan. So his plan is, guys, let's just keep them tight. Our team used to be very exciting on the wings, and we know,
Mm.
see, it's our traditional way of playing, and that is the same thing that we see in Nigeria. We've seen over the years in Nigeria. We're very excited on the wing. So if you don't exploit that, we've got players who are very fast, who are very quick on the wings. They can take advantage of defenders. They can go on the counter. They can go on the break. If you don't take advantage of the availability of these guys now, when are you going to do it? How can you have? How do you explain? You have Chidera Ejuke on the bench. You have what's his name now? This boy in Villarreal. You have him on the bench.
Chukwueze.
Chukwueze on the bench, and then you have who else again? You have Frank Onyeka on the bench, and then you're playing Anigalo. Okay, and you kept Anigalo on the field for close to 70 minutes or over 70 minutes. So and then you begin to question, what exactly is your plan, man? What exactly do you want to achieve? Do you really want to see? Look at Watford yesterday was it yesterday on Friday on Saturday? Look at Watford. He deployed 4 of his forward players. 4 of his forward players, because he needed results. Coaches who need results go hard for the result. Coaches who need if you need results, you need to impress. You need to go hard for it. If you need to score goals, if you need to pump in the goals, you need to use the best of your players, push them out. Look at Ranieri. He was a happy man on the day, because he deployed all of his attacking options. Look at Emmanuel Dennis had to play from the wing.
Yeah.
How can you have an Emmanuel Dennis somewhere and then you're bringing an Igalo who is playing in Saudi Arabia? People, when you say these things, some people say, "Oh, it's because." Are you saying Igalo is no longer a good player? No, nobody is saying Igalo is no longer a good player. But footballers, football is a competitive game, and you need to be fit for the level of game of that play. You need to be fit for the level of that play. It's like when it came to Manchester United, he couldn't hold it. He couldn't withstand that movement, that pace anymore. We saw what he could do. Because he couldn't run any longer. He couldn't, and look at him. He has added more weight. So come on, make decisions, make good decisions. Bring on the best of your players. That's what we want to see. The Super Eagles is a tough job. Don't bring somebody who is playing in Saudi Arabia to come to our Super Eagles. Bring the best of the players who are playing in the best of places. Bring them together, have a plan, put together a plan of how you want to play. If somebody is not scoring for you, don't wait until 70 minutes and you say you are giving him time. Did you give Taiwo Awoniyi time? Did you give Taiwo Awoniyi 70 minutes? And that's the thing. So these things are questionable questionable options. How can you have that sort of option? So General, he has tried. He can depart now. And what we are hearing again is that the Ministry of Sport has gotten involved in this as well. Now the ministry is saying they want to see the technical report before the sack of General. But I'm not sure. They also there's this statement out there that that was credited to someone in the ministry, that the employment of a coach starts and begins with the ministry. I don't know how. I'm not sure how true that is. So I'm not sure where we want to get to with that, because it's going to get messy.
It's well, I think that's a story for another day, because I don't even know what is going on with the Ministry of Sports in Nigeria, to be honest. Because as much as I might not agree totally with what is going on in the NFF, I think they should be given the autonomy. I always cite this example. Since when have you heard that the Department of Sports and Media and Culture in the United Kingdom now decide to say, okay, Gareth Southgate, he recently extended his contract. All right, let me see. Bring me the file on how you got Southgate in the first instance. What nonsense is that? What nonsense? So I mean, they should just let NFF. They put themselves in this big, massive gutter. Let them dig themselves out of this gutter. Because if someone like Ojikalu had come out to say, Raw actually applied for my Yimba, I said no. Then who were those people in that committee that sat down, conducted the interview for General to appoint him in the first instance? Are these people still there in the NFF? Are they still going to be the same panel that be intervened? Probably the incoming coach? What is really going on there? So all this we need to sort out. But before you come in, we need to go on a quick break, Amos. We go on a quick break now, because we are already half time of the show. And when we come back, we just take a look at that. We take a look at the options, the names they're mentioning now. Who might take over from Kenneth Rowe if they decide to now, just push him off this boat? And who are the people that are going to be interviewing this guy? Is it just going to be the in quotes, the Lord Almighty of the NFF, aka the Chief Scout? We don't know. But when we come back, we will continue on our conversation. Still the football show. My name is Wale, and we'll be back right after this break. Please stay there. Welcome back. Second half of the show. And it's Absigo Amos here with me. We've been talking so far about the issues concerning the future of the Super Eagles manager, Kenneth Roy. So, Amos, before we went on the quick break, we were talking about, obviously, talking about who, who might be taking over if eventually this guy is given his sack letter, because we don't give P45s in Nigeria if
Yeah.
if he's thrown into the employment market. Um, we've heard about a Serbian who obviously took Serbia to the 2018 World Cup. Obviously, he's a not too impressive club career. He played with some very top footballers. One of them, Nemanja Vidic, the former Man United defender. But talking about the club size, he's obviously um, coach before he got the Serbian job, but not been really top side. Question is, why are the top managers out there? And I'm sure Nigeria would be a very attractive proposition for any top manager out there. You know, you've got the players, you've got the tools, you can work with the players. Why is it that top managers out there find it difficult coming to Nigeria to work? Is it does it have to do with our culture? Does it have to do with the way we do things? Why do you always go for mediocres that we now use Nigeria as a stepping stone and then hold us to ransom? And obviously, So what is the problem?
To be fair on the NFF, I think it it mostly boils down to um, finance, availability of the coach, or the kind of coach that you want to attract. Because I don't want to believe that the Super Eagles cannot attract the best of coaches worldwide. The Super Eagles is a top job. Everybody loves Nigeria, and top coaches would like to work with Nigeria. But on what condition? So I feel like some of these conditions might not be palatable with, or it might not be the best of conditions. So only coaches who might be able to cope with those kind of conditions might look at the job. Because what we understand is that many entries are coming already for the job
Hmm.
of General. General has not been sacked officially,
But people
but
already applied. I've even
people are
heard
already.
Bonfre Joe is asked for his job back at the age of 75.
So I'm not
Well,
sure what Bonfrey Joe's plan is, but there's this place of he understands Nigeria, he understands the culture, he understands how to galvanize our players. He understands how we work in Nigeria. People who don't understand the work ethic in Nigeria might struggle with the job. And that's why the people like maybe Sunday Olise, you know, might not thrive on the job, or they might not want to stay too long on the job because the conditions might not be the best of conditions. And that's the truth. We don't know how much Guerrero is soaking in. We're not too sure. We don't know. Just think about it, right? How can you put out an information that how can there be news flying around that, oh, your coach has been fired, when the coach has not been officially fired? It's a messy situation. You're already making a mess, and then some of the news that is coming out from the camp of the Super Eagles is already rubbishing the work that the man has done with the Super Eagles, and which is going to be a dent on his CV, on his glorious CV that the Eagles have helped him to achieve. Yeah, exactly. So that tells you the kind of condition that we have. So while he was working, does he have interference? In his camp, in his room, what kind of words are being said? It's under him. You find a president coming to say, "Oh, we gave you everything. We've given you everything," and then the thing is put on the media. It makes the coach look incompetent. It makes it look like the coach is not even in control. And this is what some people are saying: that are you sure it's General who's making all these decisions? Are you even sure it's General who is making the team list? Are you even sure that it's not if players are not being imposed on him? You know,
Hmm.
these questions hanging here and there, but we cannot say for sure what exactly the situation is. But in the coming days, we'll find out a few more things. Is it going to walk away in peace? But again, who are the kind of coaches that we are attracting? Like you mentioned, we've seen the Serbian who's coming up, who's been mentioned already. You know, um, I mean, I think he doesn't have a bad CV, so to speak. Even General, when we hired him, where was he? It wasn't like he had
Hmm.
a job when we hired him, you know. But we've seen Ladin and what he has done with Serbia. But those are the kind of play of coaches that the NFF can afford, and that's the
Hmm.
truth. But we've seen countries like Cameroon, Senegal, Morocco being handled by top European coaches who understand
Yeah.
African football. We know the
Yeah.
likes of Avi Reynard and all and the likes. They know African football very well. They understand how to work with African. They bring out the best. You see the teams that they manage. They play like lions. They play like hungry lions because there is no joke. African football is very tough. It is very, very tough. It takes a lot of technicality. It takes someone who knows his job to be able to manage these players. Look at what the likes of Algeria that you mentioned earlier are doing. It's not like they have players who are far better than the Super Eagles. All our players play in the big places, in Premier League, in the La Liga, in German Bundesliga. But why are we struggling to put them together to play the kind of football that we want to see? That's the job of a coach. It's not the job of
Hmm.
you and I who are just behind the screen talking. It's not the job of the players themselves. You even find that the players can't even motivate themselves to do better. It's very, very uninspiring games that we're seeing. We're not seeing the Eagles fighting tooth and nail to say, oh, these guys, we're going to crush them. We can't even boast about our team. If we play Ghana, who says we're going to be able to beat Ghana? If we play the likes of maybe Cote d'Ivoire, who says we're going to be able to beat them? So we're not confident about our team. That's just the problem. So who is coming in? Is it Salisu Yusuf and just Yobo? At least Manchester United have got Michael Carrick, and then they've got someone else,
And
right?
Darren Fletcher.
And Fletcher. Who is going to take over? Who is going to take over from General? How are we going to? Do we want to start afresh again? The problem with Nigerian football is beyond General. Honestly, it is just beyond General. How can you not have a plan to develop the game? We want the players to play well. We want them to give us their 100% week in, week out. But there's no plan to replace these players. We're not seeing a clear plan. The NFF we're seeing now is just an NFF of the Super Eagles. And the Super Eagles is
And
not the
that's
only
true.
this NFF is not the only property of the Super Eagles is not the only property of the NFF.
That was it.
There should
Yeah.
be on the 17, on the 20, when players we're going to see progression, and then we're sure what is going to happen when Victor Osimhen leaves the scene. We're sure that we were sure when Igalo was leaving that, hey, we're not going to be short of strikers. We know it. We're not going to be we're not short on strikers. We are not. We don't have a problem in the attack. We don't. We have players who can deliver the goals, but General doesn't know how to use them. He's not sure what he wants to do with them. That's why sometimes when the game is like 70th minute and then he gets up, I'm like, what is this man doing? What has he been doing? I don't want us to dwell too much on General.
Well, we're not going to do too much on that. Well, let's just leave NFF to what they want to decide, and obviously get back to us, the fans, and obviously all of us that talk about football. And in this Tigers, we're watching this space. Hopefully, they get it right this time around.
Yeah.
And one of the other sad news that actually came out from the Super Eagles recently, and again, um, we're not confirming anything, but it's been mentioned in Nigerian circles, especially in the media space in Nigeria. Premium Times, Own Goal Nigeria have also mentioned it about the carnival-like um, um, party thrown by some members of the Super Eagles, some players and Super Eagles before, was it before or after the game against Cape Verde, where obviously the base, team base, a hotel, was turned into a carnival where we had all sorts of people coming in and they were having they were having parties and what have you. Three players have been mentioned, and we're not going to mention those names. For obvious reasons. But they've been mentioned, like I said, in Premium Times and on Goal Nigeria. And obviously, one of the top Nigerian sports journalists also mentioned those names as being the arrowhead behind this issue. So, and I know in the past this has happened before. It's happened before. Is it part of, and these things, the interesting things is these players, no matter how big they are in Nigeria, when they go back to their club sites, they know the club rules in Europe. You don't dare do that. You do that, you face the wrath of the law at your club sites or wherever. Isaac Success, we knew what happened to him, when he was at Watford and all that. Why is it that when they come to Nigeria, they feel bigger than the country? Find that the country don't pay their wages. The club size pay their wages. They've got a job there.
They still have money when they pay for it.
They see it might not be as much as they earn from their club side. Maybe that gets into their head and they decide, okay, yeah, you know what? I'm at home, I can do whatever I can. Yeah. But again, it comes to the atmosphere within the camp. It comes to a manager of the camp, the technical advisor, who was also in the camp, the hotel camp that day, whilst this was going on. And I heard it took the intervention of the team captain to make sure that these boys behaved. But why do we always have this? Why do we always have to talk about this? I mean, it's at a time when we actually needed that game. Everybody's been like, Gerzo's head is on the table, for everyone is out to just hang the poor guy, and these guys are doing what they're doing. Should they be punished?
Yes, 100%. 100%, they should be punished. Nobody's bigger than the country. You can't be bigger than the country. If you're indisciplined, you have to face the wrath. It shows indiscipline in the players. And like I said earlier, it also tells you the kind of management that we have. When players do these things, what does it say about the people who are around them, who are managing the squad? That Eco Hotel is some days ago, I read someone on Twitter who said that the camp of the Super Eagles is too open. That's not how it should be. The Super Eagles camp should be very, very tight, and nobody should be able to come in, not even for girlfriends, not even for, there are days when they allow their wives, for those who are married, or their girlfriends to come and pay them a visit, but not at night. Not at night.
Well, these guys should be responsible. We don't have any under 17 there.
That's the reason why they should be punished
like a kid.
That's the reason why they should be punished, because they should know better. And you're playing a very important game, and then you go ahead partying. The likes of the guys who have been mentioned, it's so unfortunate that these are players who have also been around for some time, and they understand how these things go. You are not a new player. You understand how these things work. You understand what it means when the players who are just coming into the squad, how do you expect them to feel? They feel like, oh, I feel like we can always do what we like here, man.
Exactly,
because nobody is going to accept that. No country is going to accept that. You cannot be doing that. After the game against Cape Verde, it's fine. Even if you guys don't win convincingly, it is fine. You can go and have your party. It's okay, but not on the eve of that game. That, and some people are saying, that's why maybe some of the players didn't get to start. That's why they were dropped to the bench. We've seen some of these things, but again, I would wait for the NFF to confirm this. I just don't want to believe that it is true, because it is a very, very stupid act, it will be a very, very stupid and disrespectful act. That means you're disrespecting all Nigerians by doing that. You cannot leave your camp and then go partying a night before a game. That's unfair to us because we are paying you. Even if the money is not too much, we pay you. We're not paying you to go and party. We're paying you to go and play football. So again, we're not saying that they're not playing when they should play, but you cannot be doing that a night before a game. We're not even questioning your talent. You deserve to be on the team, but you cannot be irresponsible. And that's why you need to also have, when General talks about maybe experience, and then you say it could even be players who have experience that are doing these things. It is so I don't buy that place of experience at all.
And it's such a shame that one of those that purportedly was fingered in this issue is actually a happily married person. Now, obviously, we always flaunt his other half and children on social media, but
We'll see.
we'll see. We'll see.
We'll see
So
the
we'll
event,
see. We'll
how
see
the event
what
turn out. Yeah.
exactly and what the NFF said. Listen, so quickly, we just need to touch on Man United before we. Obviously, they've got Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has gone, and there was a race. There was a race on social media. There was more like a poll on social media. Who is going to get sacked for Roa or Solskjaer? Solskjaer beat Roa to it, and that's it. That's the end of it. But obviously, a Nigerian, like I said at the beginning of the show, was very instrumental into giving him his P45. Manuel Dennis, that's the name of Nigeria, that played for Watford. Brilliant game he had that day. 2 assists and 1 goal. For me, I think that's probably the best I've seen Emmanuel Dennis play. He has been on fire for Watford, especially when he plays, and he begs. Then you not wonder why this guy wasn't invited to Super Eagles, or was it the one that said, "No, listen, I want to concentrate on my club football for now." Instead of going to Super Eagles, we do not know. We need to ask Emmanuel Dennis that question. But a player that plays for a team that's struggling for against relegation, but he's doing well. We saw his game against Everton when he played and scored against Everton, and obviously assists. And if you look at the names of the players on assists in the English Premier League, there's no way you're not going to see the name of Emmanuel Dennis. He's right there. And when we need players like that, he's not called. And we decided to go for experience in quote. Well, is this time now? Is this the right time now? I mean, we're going to be going for the AFCON in less than 2 months. Surely Emmanuel Dennis be called to the Super Eagles.
The crop of players we have now in the Super Eagles, or potential players for the Super Eagles, should give a coach headache. Because going forward, I mentioned earlier that we're not drought of attacking options in front. Going forward, we've got many of them. The options are many. So it is just for the coach to understand how exactly he wants to play and which player is going to be able to give him the result that he wants, and which player is going to play to what he wants. I mentioned earlier again that, Ranieri just recently took over Watford, and then he had to deploy 4 forward players, 4 in the game because he needed a result, right? And then Emmanuel Dennis was playing from the wing, and he was that influential in that game. And this is the kind of player Emmanuel Dennis is. He's very mobile. He moves around. He runs a lot of running. And that's what the Premier League is. That's how the Premier League is. So imagine having someone like Emmanuel Dennis. You have an Osimhen. You have maybe a Taiwo Awoniyi. You have a Terry Murphy. You have players who are full of running. Who can enforce things, who are not scared. We've seen Emmanuel Dennis against Real Madrid. We've seen him against big clubs. And why is he not playing for the Super Eagles? So
he's not experienced. He's not experienced.
Again, this comes to the coach and what he wants and who he wants to see. See, the way the kind of players we have up front should give you a headache, and you should bring all of them. Let's see them quickly in maybe a friendly. Bring all of them, play different styles. you need to find what works. You cannot be coaching Nigeria for almost 6 years and you cannot find what works for you. How can you be coaching a team for almost 6 years and you don't know what works for you? That's criminal. So it tells me that you're just playing try and error. Yeah, that's what you're doing, because what the same thing Gennaro has done is just like maybe a Pochettino taking over PSG now, and they cannot win maybe in the league because they've got all the players, they've got everything, they have you've got everything you need. It's just for you to be able to deploy them and motivate them. Just be able to motivate them, deploy them, and that's where the job of the coach comes in. That's why we say, hey, whoever is going to take charge of the Super Eagles now shouldn't be someone that can be influenced by anybody. But again, it is very, very difficult. Players like Emmanuel Dennis, we would like to see him again with such performances. Let him do it again. Let's see him again. We've seen him. We know what he can do. But maybe in the eyes of the guys at the NFF, he needs to show. He needs to kill somebody on the field before. Until he hits his head on the wall or he hits his head on the goalpost. Look at the kind of goals he scores. He scores with his head. He takes shots. It was a turn. It was a turn in the flesh of United. And United on the day were so uninspiring. They were look at the spaces, and Watford exploited those spaces. The runs, Watford were quicker. They were quicker on the day. You just feel like, what exactly is wrong with these players? Why are they playing this way? And look at that gesture from what's his name now, Fernandez. He's like, oh, blame us. Let the players take the blame. But hey, what did you guys do on the field? What kind of energy were you guys putting up? Out of everything that you had going on, you guys could not match them. Look at the stats of the game: 20 shots versus 9. Manchester United had 9 shots. Shot on target 7 versus 3. Manchester United had 3. So that tells you, man, this is really serious. The players, so it is sometimes beyond the coach. It has gotten beyond him, and he could no longer take the team to the next level. He himself, he said it. Ole said it. Like, see, I feel for the fans. Things are very bad. We're in a very bad situation. He just couldn't do it anymore. And Michael Carrick was speaking earlier today. They need to keep looking forward. They need to look forward. It's just, and Harry Maguire as well has come out to say, oh, we need to look inward. We need to take more responsibility. The players have to be more responsible. Because what they put up lately is not a good show. What kind of football are they playing?
Well, for that, not for giving, not for helping to give Ole P45, by the way, but for that excellent performance against Man United. Emmanuel Dennis is our star of the week. I know we've spoken about this guy a few times on this program. He seems to just go, be at home and just carries on doing his stuff. And I see him sometimes in social media. He's always just like keeping to himself.
Yeah, he's a
keeping
quiet guy.
To himself, and
we've not even mentioned what's his name, Cyril Desas as well. We've got good attacking options.
Good play everywhere.
Very good attacking option. I was worried when Ranieri was coming, like, oh, what's going to become of our players? But hey, the man has proven to be on the good books of Ranieri.
Yep, and he's beginning to deliver for. For that wonderful performance, 2 assists and a goal, Emmanuel Dennis, take about at the start of the week for today, and hopefully more of that will come up whenever Watford calls on you, and obviously whenever the Super Eagles decide to now call you to play for them. Well, take a bow, Emmanuel Dennis. Hopefully, we'll be on the lookout for more performance like that. Just like I said. Well, that's the show for today. It's always time flies whenever we talk about football. It goes like that. It's football is You can talk about football for the next 24 hours and you never really get bored.
Thank you.
Hopefully, someone in the NFF has watched this show today. If not, if someone who knows someone in the NFF has watched it, please
And
tell
then
them.
again, Wale, we've got another cause to worry, beyond the issue of General now. Before we go quickly, let me chip this one in. Victor Osimhen is injured. Out of our
Yes.
9 goals, Victor Osimhen is responsible for 4 goals in the
Hmm.
qualification phase, for the World Cup qualification phase. So this is another cause to worry. So, but we hope that the information from Napoli is saying, or news is saying, that he's going to be back before the end of December. Hopefully, he's back before
Hmm.
the end of December, because we really need him. I can't even imagine going to the Nations Cup without a Victor Osimhen.
I sure hope that nothing is broken. And Victor, we wish you all the best. Quick recovery. Okay, we want you back on the field of play ASAP. So, best wishes to you, mate. So that's our show for today. We've heard everything we need to say about the Super Eagles today. I think you know what, for the next how many days now, probably next week we're not going to be talking about Super Eagles except something drastic actually happens. Like maybe Raw gets fired and we decide to now go for, I don't know, we could convince Mourinho to leave Roma and come and coach Super Eagles. Anyway, that's the show for today. Many thanks to my mate Amos for joining us again. It's been wonderful chatting football with you. Special thanks also goes to our series producer, Yomi Omobuja. Thank you so much, Yomi, for making sure this has come to everyone watching us. Like I said, if you do like what we're doing, please don't forget to subscribe. Have a look at what we've done in the past. If you like it, give us a thumbs up. And obviously, please tell someone about us. The more we get those likes from you and the subscription from you, the more we bring this to you, okay? Have a wonderful rest of the week. And next week, really, at 8 p.m., I'll be here alongside Amos. So before then, I want to wish you a very good night.